What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm here with some book reviews.
Favorite reader, that's who you are. Traveling near, traveling far. Through every chapter, you're the star. Favorite reader, that's who you are.
Okay, so first I'm going to start with the book that my sons and I read for our book club. That is The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. I'm going to show y'all our little book club. It was cute.
I gotta find peace of mind. I know now I have to face. I gotta find peace of mind. Please don't let me disgrace. He says it's impossible. The temptations of my past, but I know it's possible. Will my devotion last? He says there's no me without him. Please help me forget about him. He takes all my energy, trapped in my memory, constantly holding me, constantly holding me. I need to tell you all the pain he's caused. I need to tell you I'm undone because I gotta find peace of mind. I know now I have to face. I gotta find peace of mind. Please don't let me disgrace. He says it's impossible. The temptations of my past, but I know it's possible. Will my devotion last to finally be in love and know the real meaning of.
So yeah, we read this. This was like a mystery, middle grade type book. It was actually really good. I read this when I was in middle school at some point, and I remember liking it, but I forgot exactly how the book went. I enjoyed this too as an adult. There's this rich man, and he left in his will that he brought together like these possible heirs, and he said, you can win it, but you got to figure out which one of y'all murdered me. And so you kind of following along with the clues, trying to figure out what means what. And then it's this slight little twist at the end. It was actually really good. My kids really liked it. I was excited to read this. Yeah, and this was the pick for January. So that was book one. Okay. Book two that we're going to talk about is last year sometime I read Ultra 85 by Bobby Hall, aka Logic. Well, this year I read his debut novel, which was Supermarket. And, you know, I kind of felt the same way about this that I felt about Ultra 85. It was a good time. This is not a literary masterpiece, okay? It's not. But it was interesting, it was engaging, and I wanted to finish it. So that's the good side of it. This was actually really interesting. It's kind of it's like split up in two parts almost. So in the first part, you have this guy named Flynn who works at a supermarket, and he's almost like going undercover because he's trying to write a book. Okay, so he's trying to write a book about somebody in a supermarket, and so he's starting to work at a supermarket, but he hasn't told anybody because he wants the authentic experience. So you get to see like what's going on with that. He's an aspiring writer and he's trying to get his debut novel out. Then you have part two that kind of flips it on his head and it's really interesting. So I felt the same way I felt about Ultra 85. Don't take this too seriously. It wasn't terrible, but it was interesting. creative in a lot of ways. I enjoyed the reading process, but again, this is not a literary masterpiece, but it was enjoyable to read, and that counts for something. I enjoy reading it. So yeah, that's that. I feel like I'm flying through these reviews. The next one we have is a book that I've been meaning to read for years. I finally got around to it. That's Tram 83. This was so interesting. This fits into the category of books. I probably should do a whole separate video because I feel like I have quite a bit of books that fit into this category. This fits into the category of books that I respected more than I enjoyed. This book did a whole lot. It was very experimental with formatting, with style, with storytelling, with like the structure. It was risque in a lot of ways. Definitely check your trigger warnings. Yeah, but it was brilliant in other ways too. So I don't know. I really didn't enjoy the reading process that well, but I appreciated the book and what it was and like its commentary on African literature. This book follows two friends, essentially, Rakim and Lucian. And they're basically opposites of each other, okay? One of them is in the underworld where he's scamming, blackmailing, doing whatever he got to do to make his money. And the other one is an inspiring writer. And they kind of all congregate around this central zone of the city, this city where everybody's trying to exploit it, of its minerals, of its everything. The central hub is this club that's called Tram 83. And this club, it got everything going on, okay? People being exploited. You got sex workers. You got drugs. You got, again, people being blackmailed. Music, alcohol, abuse. It's got a lot of stuff going on here. And that's kind of where the miners go to kick back after they done mine for whatever it is, minerals all day. They go here, hang out. The tourists come here. It had some good things going for it, but the process of reading it was just, I don't know, it fits into that category. I appreciated and respected this more than I enjoyed it. And I've been wanting to read this for years, and I finally got around to it. And I'm actually glad that I read it because it was interesting. Like I said, I appreciated the conversations around and surrounding African literature about who gets to be the main character and why, what kind of things come up in African literature and why isn't it like certain things, who gets to tell the story and how authentic is it. Like that was interesting. Even the part about like exploitation, especially in a city that's already like morally corrupt. So, yeah, very interesting. This was very, very interesting. But that's that. Okay, I'm flying through these reviews, period. Next, we only got 2 left. I only had 5 to start. We already done with 3. Oh, you know what? I do have another book review. I have 6 because one of them I've already returned. I'll do that one last. So we have A Guardian and a Thief. This book, I saw this everywhere online. And it was very interesting because people would kind of talk about it like you kind of see how thin that line is between a guardian and a thief. Like how far would you go to take care of your family and provide? And that was very intriguing to me. So I picked it up. And that's pretty much what this book is about. You have, it's set in India, almost like a dystopian type India in the near future. And you have people like coming up on famine. So people are hungry, food is scarce, resources are scarce. There's not much to go around of anything. So you have some people trying to flee the country. Some can, some can't. You have people doing what they do when times are low, taking advantage of other people, violence, abuse, all that type of stuff. And the main characters, you had this lady named Ma, her dad, and her kid, and then you had this other main character, Boomba, who is the thief in this situation. But what's funny about the title is, yes, he's the thief, but then you also see how, again, that title is kind of is given to him, but a lot of people can wear that title because, again, you, regardless of your intent and why you did what you did, you still did it. So you think about how we place certain labels on people because of what they did, like at their lowest, when other people did the same thing at their lowest, but they get a different title because it's more respectable. Is it because of their age? Is it because how they went about it? Is it because they did it for a kid? So yeah, a lot of that stuff going to play. It was very interesting. The book itself was good. I liked the story. I liked what it was about. I even like how it was told. But the ending, oh my goodness, where I wanted there to be like a glimmer of hope. I was like, the ending, I wanted a different ending, but that's okay. This was, when I read endings like this, I always think like it's realistic that something like that would happen. So very interesting. People were right when they said this was a good book. I thoroughly enjoyed this. So yeah, there's that. Okay. The last physical book I have, and then I'll go over the book that I returned, is Black and Blues, How a Color Tells the Story of My People. This is the first book that I read in February. This was good. This was good. The first book I read by Imani Perry, this is talking about how the color blue is interwoven in the history of Black people. It references classic literature. It references history, Caribbean history, African history, religions, music, just so many different references to help tie in this story and this idea that the color blue has been like has played an essential role in the history of Black people. So it was a very interesting book. I liked a lot of like the connections made. I like a lot of inferences that were made. I liked how the story was told and kind of broken up into different sections. I liked how it kind of went over how blue was like popped up again in different references in history, music, whatever it is. I just liked how the story was put together. It was put together very well. I popcorn read this with my son. Not the whole thing, but just certain parts because I was doing his hair when I first started this. So I had him read like a few things out loud. It was actually really interesting. Very, very interesting. A lot of cool things to think about. I didn't think about the literal history of the color blue and its relationship with Black people. It also brought up the idea of, again, what constitutes as Black, something that continues to come up in conversation over the years. And so that was kind of interesting to see how it was a one drop rule and now it's kind of more exclusive, or it's trying to be, and the author's position on that. So it's a pretty good book. Okay, that was the physicals. Okay, now there's one more book that I already took back that I read in January. That was Heart the Lover by Lily King. I've been trying to decide what I thought about this book. Okay, so on one hand, I liked it. I liked that how it was written, the constant references to classic literature, way that the story was told. I liked it. I liked the composition of the story. I like how it was written and the way it flowed. As far as the actual story being told, like the plot, first let me tell you what it's about. You have this girl and these two guys who went to college together and they form a friendship, okay? But she started dating one of the guys, Sam. Jordan starts dating Sam, and it's rocky. You know, you kind of get a glimpse into their relationship. So yeah, she starts dating Sam. You get a glimpse into their relationship. The day ins, day outs. And then they break up. Then she starts dating Yash, which is the other guy. and that relationship does what it does. And you just get to see, like, I've heard people call this a love triangle. I've heard people call this a coming of age story, and I guess that's all true. It's just not in the like traditional sense that I thought it was gonna be, which is not bad. It's not bad. Very interesting. I just realized the book on its own merit is fine. I just it's not my type of book, and that's okay. Like I know I just know I'm not the target audience for this book, but on paper it was a good book, constructed well. It had like the things that would kind of pull at your heartstrings. The actual story of it, I was just kind of like, the book was written well. I didn't like the story for real because I like really don't like reading about like people getting a short end of the stick who's just like an innocent bystander almost. So, it was a good book and I would recommend it to a lot of people based on like what they told me they like. But for like, again, like I know me, I only read it because I read it with somebody else. This is probably not a book I would have picked up on my own just based on the synopsis, but I read it with somebody. So that's why I read it. It was written well. I can see why people like it, but it's just one of those books that it's like, it's good, but it's not a book that I would pick up if I hadn't read it with somebody else. But I see why people do, and I would recommend it if you like romances, especially like non-traditional type romances and storylines. If you like that type of stuff, you would really like that. So yeah, that's it. Physicals, and then Heart the Lover somewhere on the screen. But that's it, y'all. Thank y'all for sticking around. Let me know if you read any of these. And I'm gonna see you on the next one.
Pages turning soft as silk, stories flowing like warm milk. A journey starts with every line, worlds unfolding in your mind. Bookmarks falling where dreams collide. Every cover's got a tale inside. Favorite read.